Absolute Batman, issue 20, Scott Snyder writing with Nick Dragota on the art. The Robins team is around. Yep. They are deployed, although they don't actually get involved till the very end of the issue, actually. The cliffhanger is, next time Batman versus the Robins. A lot of the stuff before that here is more the fallout of the documents that he got from Gordon at the end of last issue, and kind of him wrestling with those revelations. Although we start off with actually like very classic Batman imagery of like, you know, going behind the grandfather clock, going down the stairs out of the Batcave. There's a giant coin. There's the T-Rex and all that,
which looks more like a fossilized T-Rex.
Yes,
but
that's
still,
true.
When I opened this book, I forgot for a hot second this was not mainline Batman, because all of these imageries are so much mainstream Batman, right?
Yes,
the giant penny, the dinosaur, the cave steps, and then I see the ha ha ha. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then I turn the page, and it is not even close to mainstream Batman. There is a demon in that chair. And I also like how he sleeps with his mouth open. Because this demon, that might be the most human thing about him.
Wait, is he sleeping because he's laughing, right?
Yeah, but he looked to me when I first read that he was sleeping. You know what I mean? Sitting in the chair the way that he was. Looks like he's dozed off. That's what I look like. If you want to know what I look like after Thanksgiving, guys, it's pretty close, just minus the teeth. But
just the teeth. That's the only thing that's different, because there's a lot of like weird flesh coming off of his arms and like all sorts.
Thanksgiving is a full contact sport. So creepy. I gotta give it to Dragota here for this Joker, because he's a literal demon. And just when you think like you know what to expect, you get him lounging in the chair like this, kind of in between form. Because it kind of looks like Grimm, but it also looks like that Joker demon thing that we saw in the introduction to the Joker, the man who laughs, whatever we're calling him, or the man who doesn't laugh. But yeah, I will give Dragota and then Snyder credit for this. Was one of the creepiest issues between this and then all the stuff with Scarecrow later. I was reading this being like, oh yeah, this is a horror book at this point.
Yeah, notably he is laughing because he's watching the death of Jim Gordon, and he's seen Batman standing at the top of the rooftop looking down. That's what you see before the laugh. So he finds that hilarious, and you know, they've really built up this idea of him never laughing until something very darkly funny makes him laugh.
Yeah. Well, and there's all these big beats of the stuff that we've seen too. Like you have the Black Mask stuff with the party animals, right? And then you have the Bane stuff. And then we see, you know, Gordon falling as well. So it also plays as almost kind of like a catch up there as well.
Yeah, but
he's kind of been behind these.
Yeah, it's like he's watching like all the events that have played out because he's loosely behind them all, and kind of, you know, and you know, then obviously we hear that people are blaming Batman, right? They think he killed Gordon. You even see Barbara sort of at the top of the stairs, kind of like, you know, shouting, "Hey, you know, tell me." Or not even at the top of the stairs. I think she picks up the cowl that's been left behind.
The cowl that he gave him.
Yeah, and she's like, "Hey, are you listening? Tell me you didn't do this." So obviously, I assume he's going to make that clear at some point. It doesn't happen in this issue though. It's just a really sad, somber moment. But he's looking at the files that he got from Gordon, and you know, it says Dr. Crane believes Bruce to be susceptible, and obviously we saw the whole Project Batman part at the top last time. So he's really weighing down with this, and he's sort of sulking, and Alfred's worried. Harley comes in with her big hammer to break down the door because they think he's behind the door, but when they get in there, he's gone. He's left. Gordon's coat's hanging on the wall, kind of the specter over the whole scene.
It made me feel like it started with the Joker's Batcave, and then this is what I feel as the start of Bruce's Batcave, right? And it's not a trophy, it's like a grim reminder of how he failed.
Oh, I can see how you see it that way. I kind of took it more as, like, again, just furthering this idea of in this universe, Joker has all of Batman's resources, including the cave. And then here, all Batman has is this crappy little hideout, you know? It's nothing.
Yeah, and again, he's hanging up the jacket as this reminder. And I was just like, oh,
that's the equivalent of the Jason Todd costume in the case.
Absolutely. Except this, Gordon didn't deserve it.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, that goes without saying, I think. So we go to Wayland, who now looks completely human. That medallion that he got in the other realm with Wonder Woman is working a treat.
Magic.
Yeah, working a treat. And he comes in to find Edward, and he's like, hey, I'm worried about Bruce. He's not right in the head. We have to go help him. And Riddler's like, oh, I'm too busy. The others are too busy too. So it's kind of interesting that Wayland's the one who's kind of regained his sanity now, and he's like, we have to go help Batman. And we get glimpses of what the others are doing, because Riddler's got like his mind hooked up to like the city systems, and he's like, well, here's what Two-Face is doing. And again, Two-Face looks like he's got like Sadako hair from the Grudge, or the Ring, sorry, like coming down over his face, but you just get the glimpse of the blue side of his face, tossing the coin.
And I like too that they set up to that it's not just Two-Face going after people with the coin, right? These are people that got let go after Harvey's relationship with Batman got broadcast. And so it's like he's going up and trying to clean up these guys that are now walking free. Yeah,
a lot of people got out who he'd put behind bars because those cases are not valid anymore because you've associated yourself with Batman. So
and again, him there with the ring hair and like half of the body in the half suit. Again, this is a horror book. They're constantly reminding us. Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't even necessarily show us that he is even attacking them yet. He's just kind of watching one of them. He's just kind of spying on him.
Stalking.
So, we might get like him attacking one of these guys next issue, or find out that he has done that. But right now, it's just kind of, again, creepy stalking from the back. And then we see Penguin, who is mad that no one's in his club, so he's like, oh, let's go to this other club then everyone's going to, and bring the C4. I actually really laughed the way he said bring the C4 at the end.
Yep. Well, he says, give me my dancing shoes, the bright shiny gold ones, and get the C4. That tag of and get the C4 is like, oh, okay.
Very darkly funny, but Wayland kind of grabs Edward and sort of sits him down, and Riddler kind of like says, hey, I know how you're feeling. There's, ever since what happened to us happened, it's like there's been a hole in my head and like a riddle I can't solve, and it's really getting to me. And Wayland's like, yeah, I kind of actually get what you mean, but we're better together. So yeah,
I really love that final panel of them sitting there and Eddie is smiling. And so is Wayland, and that's the first time that we see like vaguely human emotions from either of them in a while. So again, I do like that Snyder is like, what makes them human is their camaraderie, and I feel like that's going to tie back to Batman eventually.
Notably, throughout the entire scene, Wayland's got sunglasses on, and it's just before that panel where he takes them off, and you can see that he's still got reptile eyes, that's still in there. But it's like, he's showing his real face here at the very end for that smiling panel. So it's a bit more effective in that sense. So that's really cool. It's a quick flashback. Remember, Bruce gave himself up for the crime boss last issue.
Falcone.
And Falcone wanted him to do time, right? 6 months in prison to like learn who everyone is in there, who's all the ways in and out, all that stuff. And it kind of glosses over it, to be honest. We don't really get too much of it, but it just sort of sets it up, and then there's like another scene set after that later. But it sets up that he knows his way in and out of the prison. So we get like this gorgeous quiet page of him just sort of gliding through the sky and then landing on the side of the tower of the prison and finding his way inside. And he's there to talk to Joe Chill because he wants to ask Joe Chill about the idea that this was not like a random thing that happened to his father, that you so obviously you plan to go and do something that day, but did you target Thomas Wayne? Did you do this because you were told specifically for that? And that's what he wants to know. What Batman's not expecting though is that out of nowhere there's someone else in that cell who's not supposed to be there, and that's Scarecrow, who comes walking out in his creepy vibes. Really good stuff.
What is he? Like, does he move by the shadows? How does he keep doing this? How does he know where Batman's going to be before Batman realizes he's going to to be there?
Yeah, he also knows it's Bruce. He doesn't say it until Joe Chill stops paying attention. But which getting to that, he tells Joe Chill to get ready for bed, And then like a page later, he's like, "Are you ready for bed, Joe?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's basically made a noose out of his bed sheets. And Batman's like yelling through the cell, and he's trying to use his cape to get to him so that he can't do it. But he's unsuccessful. Joe Chill hangs himself, and that's like the big thing. So it's like Scarecrow is so effective at what he's doing here. And he talks about, you know, like, yeah, like you can cause fear, and like I've always seen fear, but what's happening now, that's dread. Like it's one thing for a farmer to like, oh, I fear my crops going bad, or, you know, pests or locusts or whatever. But like, oh no, now I've got existential dread about, you know, the entire world breaking into nuclear war, about all these other bigger things that I can't do anything about, but it seems inevitable, and that's real dread, and that's what Scarecrow wants to kind of help evoke and keep moving forward. Also, casually mentions that there was something darkly funny about the bat being chosen as the thing to kind of attack you with, because hey, your mother's in the Court of Owls, and what is the natural predator, you know, of an owl? Yeah, so
well, it's the owl, and so he also mentions like working with Grimm. He's like, we thought it would be funny because of that, because of the prey of an owl as a bat. And he says it's not a project, he's a joke. So it's like, you're meaningless. So now he's also just attacking Bruce on that as well. It's like, you're kind of just an afterthought. Like, you're just a joke to all of this. And I was like, oh man, like this is a different Scarecrow. Like,
I mean, that ties in with the opening. Joker's literally laughing at what he's created. He's like, oh, like, you know, look at all this. He cares about Gordon dying. He's actually become a giant Batman. Oh, what's so funny? He's so messed up.
And then that was the other thing, is that they show that Scarecrow has a knife with him, right? He folds it out and he stabs Bruce with it when Bruce reaches in. And then when he has Chill hang himself, Bruce sends his cape in to catch him, and Scarecrow cuts it. And so again, it's just this thing, this whole dread that and hopelessness that Bruce can't do anything.
And of course,
you know, like,
and then obviously the alarm goes off and Batman flees the scene, and now it's going to look really suspicious because now Joe Chill's turned up dead and he's been seen fleeing the scene of the crime. So yeah, I mean, like all of this is just kind of putting him through the ringer. There's another little flashback to afterwards where Falcone tries to say, hey, you're going to be our enforcer now, right? And Bruce is like, yeah, I'm not, you know, that's not who I am. But he's like, hey, no, take the bat, as in a baseball bat. Like, you use this and you go out there. You won't even need it. You're a big guy. Like, you won't have to even use it. You'll just intimidate people. And it just kind of ends there. So we don't really know if he gets forced into it for a little bit or not, or what. We'll find out later.
But it's what Falcone says. And he's like, everyone has to go through this. You'll do great. It's just a bat, a tool. Nothing special about it at all.
Yeah,
and it's
it's just this idea that Bruce is going to make the bat mean something, right? He is going to. You think I'm nothing. You think I'm just an afterthought, just a joke. You're going to like see this bat symbol as I beat you, and you're going to know you created the thing that took you down.
Yes.
That's what it feels like this is building to.
Yeah, I like that. So how I'm choosing to read this from Snyder, who's done so much work on Batman, there's always the thing where they talk about how the Batman is the persona and Bruce is the shield to that, right? That's how he interacts with the world. But when his parents died in the alley, he became Batman. I like here that he's almost inverting that. And it's like, okay, well, Grimm created the idea of the bat and he gave it to you, right? But that's just the tool. And it's going to be Bruce Wayne and his decisions and him turning that against the Joker. That's what makes it work. You know, so it's going to be Bruce Wayne as the persona. That's the thing that at his basis level, right, is that Grimm created this version of Bruce. And it's going to be his, you know, that's going to, not his undoing, but that's what's going to be, what's going to thwart him. And I really like that idea of Snyder flipping it like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some of that in there, and that goes with flipping this idea of what Batman has versus what Joker has, and all the other flipperoos that's been happened here. It's very inverse. I think it is maybe a little more complicated, just in the sense that, you know, like he is such this complex guy, and he's even told here that his mum's probably dead because she went to see the Court of Owls and she's not came back. Probably ended badly for her. Now I don't think she is. I think we're saving a big, you know, comeback moment down the line. But I think I love the difference here of, like, just this idea of, like, them creating their own undoing, right? Of creating this, like, hey, we're just going to, like, mess with this kid and do this to him and see what happens, and can Project Batman work? And he does become Batman, and so far he's more or less just playing into their and not even like they've planned all this out. I think, like, some of the outcomes to the Bane stuff and the outcome of what's going on right now, I don't think they knew what was going to happen there. I think that's why Joker's laughing, because he's like, oh, look at all the crazy things that have happened because of what we did to that kid. So the idea that he's going to have to sort of reclaim that symbol and make it his, and make it his tool, and make it mean something in a way where it didn't before, is quite interesting. And just furthermore, the idea of, like, this Batman and the regular Batman, like, ever comparing notes is quite fascinating and to think about in your head, because of how different the setup is.
Well, it's just like Grimm is just torturing him, and he doesn't break. And that was the whole thing with the Bane arc, right? Well, that he just kept pushing through, and he didn't do what Grimm thought he was going to do. But when he ended up using the Venom.
Joe is so good about this, though. Joe is so good. Is that part of it's actually the same as the regular universe? Like, what does Joker do in the regular universe? He likes playing with Batman. He likes to keep putting the city in danger and doing darker things to try and break him, to see if he can. That part, that nugget, is the same core, despite all the other differences.
Right. Well, and that's what I was getting at, was Joker thought he was going to use the Venom on himself, right? But he ends up flipping it around and overdosing Bane on it. So Bruce still doesn't do exactly what they think he's going to do. And like you just said, with the Joker likes to push mainstream Bruce, right? What's he going to do? Now I feel like this has just made it worse for Bruce, because now Grimm's like, oh, let's see how far we can take this, Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff. It almost, I just said I'll think of Batman meeting Batman, but what if like regular Batman meets this Joker, or this Batman meets regular Joker? Like, there's so much potential for, like, wild, and you can't do it for every character and their counterparts, but like, there's definitely at least one big story somewhere. If it's not Batman and Joker, then it's someone. It's it's absolute Superman and regular Lex, or vice versa, or whatever it is. But there's room somewhere, and I think Batman's the most interesting option, just because of how flipped everything is. I think the clashing, because I think regular Wonder Woman and absolute Wonder Woman, they're different, but I think they would probably get on quite well.
They're gonna hug each other within 10 minutes and be like, sister.
Yes.
And mainstream Diana's gonna look at absolute Diana and go, wow, what's your gym routine? You know what I mean? That type of stuff. And same with Superman. He's gonna look at Superman, and Cal will look at Clark and be like, oh, these are very similar, right? But different, and they'll get along. But I feel like here, I feel like Joker would look at absolute Batman and almost be like, okay, well, this is new. How am I going to go about this? Like, it'll give him pause almost, because of that. I just love the idea of him snatching the Joker and be like, we're done. Like, I will break every bone in your body. It's not funny anymore, Yeah,
or even just regular Batman and absolute Joker. Like, this idea of absolute Joker not understanding that this Batman happened without any, like, one trying to make him. He just existed, and is this force of nature that cannot be reckoned with. So there's lots of potential for crossy wassy timey-wimey things.
But and that's where I hope that Snyder does understand Batman at a certain level, that we can get this inverting, and we can have this conversation about, oh man, what would the absolutes look like meeting their mainstream counterparts? And everything feels right. There's so much potential there.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason what makes it feel more Bruce focused than Bat as the main personality focus is because he has this group of friends, this group of people who knows who he is, who cares about him, and he's fallen out with, and there's kind of this,
Yeah, it's weird. He has more of a community than like mainstream Batman with the sense of Gotham, whereas like we know that Bruce is in the mainstream, his love is Gotham, right? And here, I feel like Bruce's love is that friend group,
To an extent, I think the way I would put it is more that no, he has a support group in the regular universe, but it didn't start that way. He built that as Batman. He built Nightwing and you know, the Batgirls and all the other Robins and whatnot, right? That's something that came in time that Alfred helped promote within him and all the rest of it. Whereas here, he already has all these friendships in this core group from before he went down this path. In fact, he even had these friendships before his dad died, right? He knew these other kids before that time. It's a support system that predates the tragedy. So it really does shake up who he is and how he looks at the world. And it's not like, I suppose in some ways you'd look at it and say that's objectively better because he always had that, but it's also a little bit more heartwarming that in the regular universe he was able to build it after all the trauma and after like everything he became. Like it was this guiding light back to some sense of like normalcy.
The reason that Dick became Robin was he was getting too close to the dark, right? And he needed that kid energy, right? That younger person to remind him why we do this, right? Because it's easy just to be like, I fight crime, I break bones, but you know, we have to still be a role model at parts. But here, when it starts, it's just like, no, this is why the stuff with the friends and him choosing to go solo means so much, is because his friends got hurt because of him, right? And he doesn't want that to happen to anybody else. And that's why I'm wondering where the Barbara stuff comes around now, because her dad died, right? Because of his association with Batman. Right. And it made it look like Batman threw him off the roof and all this. So I'm wondering how that's going to play in at this point.
I think she'll become absolute Batgirl at this point. I feel like this is more than more. Once she learns about who's behind all this, I feel like it's just going to push her more and more towards that.
I don't think, and I don't think a lot of the Robins are going to stay, you know, because we barely touched on them. But I feel like where this goes, it's almost like they're handing him over allies. And maybe not all of them, but I definitely feel like with some of these Robins, you know, just through these 2 issues we've gotten to know them, I definitely feel there's something else to them.
I mean, I would say we haven't gotten to know them yet. I mean, we've basically got a list of names and, you know, because, I mean, that's the next part we're getting to is when Batman leaves the prison, the giant, like, Nightwing bot comes up through the clouds and says, "You're under arrest, Batman." And then once he starts giving chase, we start seeing all the other Robins, and they literally refer to themselves as Robin 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
R2. Yep.
Because it's like, oh, Steph's Robin 4, Duke's or no, she's 5. Robin 5, and he's Robin 4. Sorry.
Okay.
No, sorry, hon. Yeah, Duke's 4. Yeah, Duke's 4. Steph's 5. 4. Tim's 3. Yeah.
I was taking it chronologically, not, you know. So I assume that she was 4.
No, she's 5.
Been introduced.
Yeah, I don't think the ordering's based on anything in particular, really. But yeah, I mean, the cliffhanger is just that, you know, they chase down Batman and he pulls out his axe and is walking towards all 5 of them for the cliffhanger.
Yep, and they're saying that if they do not Voltron at a certain point, I'm gonna be very upset.
It's very Power Rangers with the sort of like the color coded mech suits, or even like I don't know, you know, any of those shows, Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, any of those, you know, color coordinated power teams.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The Voltroning, if all those mech suits don't join up to make one gigantic, you know, I'm gonna be a little upset because it's right there. You know,
but it's interesting though, because we were just talking about how, you know, Joker and to an extent Scarecrow, right? And this idea that Jonathan Crane, the psychiatrist, was like sort of doing profiles on potential kids that they could mess with. I like that detail, by the way. I didn't mention that earlier, but I did like it.
That's right.
This idea that they gave this idea of the bat to Bruce, and it's like, okay, he's still kind of using it, but now he's starting to realize that, so maybe he'll turn it around on them. It is interesting that the villains also gave the Robins the Robin name. So, in effect, they might end up doing a similar thing to Batman, where they might take it for themselves and then make it mean something that blows up in the villains' faces, potentially. So, you know, what I'm saying is here is there's actually a lot of similarities in the sense of like the fact that they gave Batman the bat and they gave the Robins the Robin. So there's maybe like more bonding over like them turning to Batman's side than perhaps... Yeah. You know, otherwise there would be. So, that's good stuff. It's good stuff. Alfred Jelling, get out of there. He doesn't want him to fight 5 Robins at the same time. No.
Bruce again. Can't tell this man what to do. I like that. This is the most punk Batman ever. You know, at this point, he's like, get out of there. Nah.
I think that's what makes this Absolute version work so well, is that he is just enough of a different character, but it still feels like it's playing with the mythos of Batman in interesting ways. So it's walking a tightrope in a lot of ways, because I think if you went too like weird and different, it just wouldn't feel like Batman anymore. So it's keeping the essence in there, but it's also, I guess what I'm saying is like Snyder really has to understand who Batman is in general to be able to do this alternate version and make it feel true to the idea without, but also being wildly different and doing different takes on everything.
So I was trying to get at when I was comparing with that and the Joker, is he has to have that understanding. And for a while, I thought that it had gotten past him, because his run, I just think maybe went too long. And we got to some really weird stuff. But here, this feels refreshed. This feels like he has a point of view. Like he exactly knows this Bruce. Like he knows Absolute Bruce through a T, and he has things planned out. You know, and I know that he says him and Dragota right now have up to issue 50 worked out. You know, that's what they want to do. Now, how it plays out, we'll see. There could be, you know,
it's number one. Like issue 1's on its like 17th reprinting. I've got a pretty good feeling they'll get their 50 issue run if they want it.
So, and that excites me, because that means that he's not just. I felt like it towards the end of his original run of Snyder's, he was just kind of throwing stuff against the wall, saying things like that. Doesn't feel like here. This feels like he had like everything with the friend group planned out, and the Robins.
It feels mapped out. To be fair, I do think he had things I don't think he was just throwing stuff against the wall with his Batman run. I just think he wanted to get weird and go to bizarre places that I did not like. And I think all of his weird, wild tendencies here get to flourish because it's this alternate take for the most part. So, the one asterisk on them getting to do their 50 issue run or their 100 issue run or whatever they want to do, the only asterisk on that is once the Paramount like sale of Warner Brothers goes through, if that gets wonky with anything. But I mean, you know, hopefully the comics get untouched, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a small enough. But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun, and I also like how much the different Robin colors pop up against the typical Batman gray and black. Right, like there's a contrast there.
Yep,
that just works. So I'm very excited for the next issue to see how this fight scene plays out, because Dragota is killing it here.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that they should have had Jason just have red and Tim just have green. The fact that they both have red and green makes it less obvious which one's which at a glance than the robots. But other than that,
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, no, neat. Art's very good, you know. All the stuff with talking to Scarecrow was super creepy. Batman flying into the tower and all that looked good as well. Really good. Very, you know, reserved this issue. It's very old kind of nuanced stuff because it's not a big actiony issue for the most part. It's very much these intense conversations, either, you know, Scarecrow with Batman and Joe Chill, or you know, Wayland with Riddler, all that kind of stuff. But all of it looks good. It's all very good. This creepy undertone, and definitely builds suspense for where it's going. I think if anything, this book through these last couple of issues has maybe even been the best it's been, which is really saying something, because it's been very high quality throughout. But the way that it's starting to feel like it's playing with the Batman mythos and what the Bat means and what we're going to be doing with it is very exciting. So
yeah, the for me, the fact where I wasn't enjoying some of the Bane stuff to spinning out of that and then through Poison Ivy and now this, I really feel like it is hitting to the strongest it's been. Definitely for me. So I am locked in. I was so excited to read this week. Like as soon as I had some time, I was like, oh yeah, we're hitting Absolute Batman hot out the gate. And it's been a while since I felt like that, you know. I usually try to leave the books I'm excited for till last, because if I read something really good, it's gonna make everything else feel kind of like it's not up to the level. But no, the pure excitement from reading this first, you know, got me through the week.
All right, what are you giving Absolute Batman issue 20?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5.
I'm just going straight 9, I think, for me on this one. I love what it's doing.